when you activate a part of yourself inside you activate the light, you activate that essence, that chi. What happens is it just starts to emanate from you. And people are attracted to that. They don't know what it is. They think it's the individual, but it's not that. It is what it is that you're emanating. And when you start to use that and then direct it in certain ways, you know, you can send it to a situation.
So today, very welcome, a wonderful man in this talk today, and he comes from the profession as an engineer and has a very incredible journey until today, where he is really a healer. And I'm very curious what he's talking about, because I don't know everything yet about him. So welcome, very welcome to this talk, Jeff Imrie. Hi, Jeff.
Good day to you, Beata. Thank you very much for inviting me on your show. It's fantastic.
Yeah, I'm happy. I'm happy that you're here. So not only females, but male energy is so much needed. And so I'm happy that you're here as well in your presence, representing as well the male energy, even if you're a female as well inside. So
oh my goodness. Don't tell my mother.
No, I won't.
Gosh.
Yeah, Jeff, I know a little bit that you have been in India, sitting on the feet at from Sai Baba. This is something, yeah, this is something we have in common. I was 5 times in the ashram of Sai Baba, and once I had an interview as well. And he materialized vibhuti out of his hands into my hands, and he slapped on my head and said, "Bless you, bless you." So when I heard that you have been to Sai Baba, I was, oh, so we have a maybe similar experience. So you have been in India, you have many educations, and most of all, you have followed your heart to be there where you are now. But please tell the audience, what was your life? What was your past, your way to that, what is now going on in your life?
Okay, perfect. You know, I'm sitting here in where I do a lot of my work in the south of Ireland, and you can tell from my accent that I am not Irish. I have a Scottish heritage, but I'm actually born in Toronto. But sitting right next to me is some of the vibhuti that you're speaking about from Sai Baba's ashram, which is a sacred piece that I keep here. Anytime that a client needs a little bit of it, a little bit of a vibhuti, sacred ash, I do that. You know, I was an engineer / welder to trade. My job was building oil rigs. I ended up going all over the world. I worked in Germany a few times. I worked in Buren. I worked for Porsche, many different countries. But I seemed to be living a life as a secret agent. You know, it was like I was a double agent, because on one half I would be a lecturer or a senior lecturer of engineering, working in different colleges, passing on all sorts of different skills. I've had thousands of students through the years. And on the other side, I had the aspect of what it was that was going on out with education, because healing came to me quite a young age, and I was tapping in. I never actually understood what it was that was given to me, and I was having a couple of glasses of wine one night with a couple of friends, and this lady said to me, "Jeff, says, would you like me to draw an initiation on your back? And I said, I don't even know what that is, but I never admitted it. I said, yeah, that would be great. And she drew a beautiful symbol on my back. And for the love of God, I could not open my eyes. And then it was the beginning of opening a key. It was like an energetic key. And every night for the next goodness knows how many months, I would be lying in bed at night like a little boy, looking up. And as there were all sorts of energies flying across the rooms, there was open sparks, there was everything was flying. And somehow that energetic key had opened up my perspective in a shifting pattern in the ways I could not imagine. And that was the beginning.
What age was you? You said in the very young age. What age?
I know. I was actually 40. I was 40, which is quite young for what I am now.
40.
I was 40, bang on 40 when that happened. Yeah. It was the meaning of life for me. Yeah.
Wow.
And it really opened up the doorways for me to learn about, and I was like a kid in a candy shop because I found things that I could not imagine. I saw behind the curtain. I could feel and sense things that other people were going through, and it became an overload for a long time until I learned to control it. And I then went searching throughout the world, trying to find who my teachers were, what it was I had to learn. And as it happens, when you go searching, it comes to you in a different way. I was working in education for a long time. And as you start to evolve, your skills start to improve as well. And then I never really thought of myself as an artist, but I ended up starting to make, sort of metal sculpture. And I started off making a little man on with a banjo sitting with a cactus at his back. That was the very first thing. And I ended up making stuff that won awards and on garden shows and in top galleries across the world. So it was an amazing time.
Let me ask you, let us just jump a little bit back. You said you could look behind the curtain. You could see what's going on with the people. How was it? How was it? And what did you perceive, or what were you aware of?
So every person is always emitting and sending out signals of who they are. Everybody does it. They're sending out these signals. But most people are unaware of the fact that they are sending out signals. But there are definitely people on the planet who their transmitter is such that they can pick up on that, and they have empathetic skills. And to be an empath, you can be overwhelmed by all of that information that comes to you. And I was in the beginning until I learned how to ground myself and how to actually then shut it down, or how to then funnel it in a way. So as I started to learn a new skill and a new career, the possibilities just opened up of what it was that people were carrying. And the information was given to me about their physical problems, what it is that they carried, the events that happened in their life, the trauma that is then holding them back. Every person, every individual has what I would call an inner matrix. And in that inner matrix is basically their journey in life. And the journey in life is that the events that have happened are sometimes still active in their life, and they are beating away. And they are actually becoming stronger and stronger because we have ways of being that then counteract what it is that has happened in our lives. So some people, shut down life, and that life force can't go in if that program is so strong. And eventually what happens is physically we start to become unwell. So these dates, these times, these emotions, it's like a language that I have been learning for so long now, and it's such a subtle language that, but it's a communication that I just automatically pick up on. So somehow or other, I can tell you dates. I can go back to the time of where it was, and we can regress, and we can re-energize, and we can bring forth what it is that's meant to be for people.
Is it the situation in this lifetime, or is it situation as well in past lifetimes?
There's actually enough to be going on in this lifetime without going back. But we can do that. We can go back in time, and we can go back to that point in time where it was. It's amazing. Just I laugh at my wife. My wife is she's 20 years younger than me, but she's telling me that she's been here 674 times before. So I always tell her that I'm a toy boy because I figure I've only been here once.
Yeah, you never know. So I was told that I was 13,000 times here. So you never know. Don't look at me, please. You have a lot of work to do.
My God, you're slow learners.
So how is it, Jeff, for you? When you, for example, I just get a picture when you walk through the streets, or you are in an airplane or somewhere. Do you have to focus to be with yourself, so not to pick up all the things you normally are able to pick up? How is it?
I have a switch now. I can switch it on and off. Whereas before, I couldn't do that. And when you activate a part of yourself inside you, you activate the light, you activate that essence, that chi. And what happens is it just starts to emanate from you. And people are attracted to that. They don't know what it is. They think it's the individual, but it's not that. It is what it is that you're emanating. And when you start to use that and then direct it in certain ways, you can send it to a situation. You can send it to a part of your life. You can send it to individuals or people in your family. If they are ready to receive it, it is a perfect partnership.
Wow. Yeah, this is amazing. So what do you do for yourself to be aligned with your soul aspect?
And as an empath, you can get caught up in the aspect of other people. You can get caught up in the way of, I guess some people will call it people pleasing, because what happens is that everybody's sending out, signals. So what happens is you're tapping into them, and automatically, for a while, I then went to looking after them. So I kind of lost myself. But now I am completely focused, and I know exactly what it is and my mission is on this planet. And I'm here as a teacher. I'm here as a healer. I'm here as a sculptor, actually, because I managed to be able to represent some of the wonderful things that are, as I say, behind the curtain, or somewhat. If I can just seem to bring them forth. But they sometimes wait on me, because I'm given a mission, I think. I don't know about anything else, but I had a recurring dream once, and I was shown these 21 war-torn, battle-scarred angels, and they had slash marks, and they had, just they were so downtrodden. It was like they'd been at war for hundreds and hundreds of years. And I dreamt about this, and I dreamt about this. And I realized that I was, as a sculptor, I was meant to make each one of them, because each one of them was a representative of people on the planet. And they were also representative of 21 individuals on the planet that were meant to hold the energy for each one of them, that were given the gifts of the angelic realm. Because as a human being, we can keep on ascending, and there is no limits to where it is that we grow, because our power continues to grow and strength and essence. And the alchemy of what it is that is an unknown quantity. And the fallen angels of what it is that I saw are like representatives of each one of us as well, because we have been through all these different wars. We have brought all that pain and sorrow and angst. But it is now time, and that everything is starting to shift now. So as I build these energetically, that is going to make a shift for each one of these people who are going to hold on to this, who in turn is then going to be leaders in this planet. So I have 21 sets to make. I have made 3 so far. I have made Gabriel, Michael, and Remiel, and I'm working on the first woman on Earth, which is Lilith.
Lilith.
Lilith, yeah, Lilith was the first woman on Earth.
Wow.
Everybody thinks it's Eve, but it was Lilith, and she's quite a representation of women's empowerment, actually, because she refused Adam and because Adam wouldn't treat her as an equal, and she refused, and even when they sent angels to bring her back, she said that she wouldn't, and they said that she would be put into purgatory. And she would be tagged for refusing to do that. But she preferred that to go back and to be less than equal. So when I'm building Lilith, I'm given information from what it is that Lilith is. And I get green sparks, and I had an amazing vision of what Lilith and when she came to Earth. She assisted and helped bring forth a healing symbol for me as well, which was another fantastic story.
This was just recently that you get this symbol. So you're still working on the angel wings of Lilith, and you're getting this symbol.
I was working in Greece and in Turkey, and in the small islands. I was on a boat. It was meant to be a holiday, but I ended up working and giving sessions throughout. And I'd actually just I finally gave up my job as an engineer.
Wow, when was it? When was it?
It was only 4 or 5 months ago. 4 or 5 months ago, I gave up my job full-time as an engineer. And I said to myself, okay, I no longer need to do this anymore. And I need to open the door to what it is that is waiting for me. So that aspect of surrender opened the door, and I said that this is going to be my life. So I then went and worked and gave and shared all my gifts on the boat. And at the end of that week, one of the ladies who was on the boat, she paid for a luxury room for my wife and I to stay in after we came off the boat. And I'm sitting in luxury and thinking there's something not quite right here, and I didn't know what it was, and it just kept on rising. And I'm looking at the sunset, I'm looking at the sun, I'm looking at everybody else who are all drinking and having fun, and I'm just, after having the most amazing week assisting and helping and sharing my gifts, and I decided that I needed some food. I went into the pool and I submerged myself in the pool. And I opened my eyes, and there was this beautiful circle. And those gorgeous waves were running through it. And I'm staring at it as if to say, oh, what is that? And even although I've had so many wonderful experiences come through, I need so many shows to come on, Beata, but I still am astounded by what it is that opens the door for me sometimes. And I came out of that swimming pool, and it was like I was given information, and I started writing and writing and writing, and then I drew the shape and it was this beautiful vine that I was given. And I was also given the direction of where this information was coming from. And it was like an interplanetary aspect. And there was an alignment that came with it as well. And it just got to the point in time where I started to feel as if my body was shifting, and I became even more uncomfortable after writing and bringing forth this for the next 3-4 hours, because I knew that we were ready to go to the airport to go home to Scotland and to Ireland. And as the information kept on coming through, my belly kept on swelling and swelling and swelling. And eventually, when I'm in the taxi, it felt like I was, not that I can say that I could feel as if I was pregnant, but it was such that I didn't know what to do with this. And I was there with Karen, my wife, and my other friend Sandra was there as well. And I said to the two of them, as we went through security, I said, I'm going to have to give birth to this. Which one of you is going to ready to receive it? And Karen said, I'll do this. So the information that I was given at this point in time was all inside me. And I drew this beautiful symbol, which I call Soma. And it also has many names. It's called the Three Marys. It's called Soma, which is a beautiful water symbol. And when I drew it on Karen for the first time, she completely collapsed in the middle of the airport. And I'm going, my goodness, it doesn't half work. And then I managed to pick her up to sit her there, and she was completely gone. She was, and I'm sure we videoed it as well. And then I did the same thing for Sandra. But by that time, what it was that was inside me had been given birth. So the three sorrows, Soma, this water symbol, it brings up the aspects of what it is that each one of us carry. And as I'm flying home, I was given the three aspects of what it was that this symbol was. And I had a horrible flight because you don't know what it is that you still carry. So this particular symbol keeps on evolving and growing. It's wonderful because all my clients get to receive it. So I'm deliberating whether to actually put this tattoo on my back. I don't know. I've never had any tattoos, but it could be the first one.
Okay, so are the symbols which you are drawing already finished, or are you still in evolving process?
It is my teacher was given a symbol which is a fire symbol. It's called the Prima Agni, and it's called the fire of divine love. And I think that this is part of a healing modality, which is all to do with the elements. So I think that there are still 2 more symbols to come through, and I do not know where they come, when they will come, but I think that there is more to come. So we now have the fire symbol, and we also have the water symbol. There is the ether is still to come, and there's still another come up.
Yeah.
So there is more to come, but I'm drawing this remotely across my clients in the States. I'm drawing this with the people, and they're giving me tremendous feedback of what it is, because it really opens the doorway, because they have to experience it.
Are you drawing this symbol every time new for a new customer or for a new client, or have you drawn it and you can, for example, copy it, or you can make something out of metal or gold or silver or whatever? So
it's it has many possibilities. It can be an individual piece of art, which it will be at some point. I think I will make beautiful motifs with it. Not all my clients are ready for it, because a lot of them, the journey is such that they do not know what it is, what it is that they're coming to. So it can take a few weeks before we can maybe introduce stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And when you say your clients have a special response or feedback to you, what do they experience? Do they experience more calmness, more energy, release of some things? Do they have dreams? So what is going to happen when somebody has this symbol?
Okay, so what I'm finding is that everybody has different coping mechanisms. Some people, when I give the symbol, and it can probably last about 10, 15 minutes, is that the different aspects of the symbol seem to bring up pain as they are receiving it. Other people, it takes about an hour for it to kick in, and some people, it will last throughout the 7 days. And some individuals, they don't feel anything. So it's maybe the fact that it's not working for them, or it's just the fact that they're not perceiving, or they don't have, the fine attunement as yet to be able to pick up on it.
Okay, so when, for example, when you do a symbol for me, do you have to pass it over personally, or can you send it, or is it?
No, I can send it to you. Yeah, I would love to do that now, but there would be silence for for a period of time. But I will do that for you, and you can report back on how that goes.
Wow, yeah. Yeah, because this symbol, what you got from Lilith, and it's the water symbol. So this is a symbol for the women. This is a female energy. And what I understand during these time, that it is very, very important that the female energy is more present and is willing to be there. So when the female energy goes stronger, from my interesting point of view, when the female energy raises and goes stronger and has a nicer and other vibration, so the male energy can as well expand in the original way as the fire does. How do you perceive that? What is your...
I'll give you a perfect example. One of my clients, so I gave her this symbol 3 weeks ago, and she'd been at war with her husband for goodness knows how many years. But as she shifts and changes, what then happens is she's no longer emanating or sending out the signals of chaos, of fear, of past memories, because they are starting to be cut and they're starting to be negated. And what happens is that their relationship now is never been at a better time. And it's not because he's haven't had any treatment or dealt with any of his issues, but it's subliminally she's been sending out signals that he has been picking up on, even although he has been unaware of it. So as one person in that partnership shifts and changes, the other one will pick up on it, that's for sure.
Yeah. So this is what we always say: if you change, really within, the environment changes as well. And so it's always a matter of vibration and information, which will be transported then. Is it so, like that?
Definitely. It's always about alchemy. I remember having a meditation once, and I was taken outside the planet, and I could see this harvester, and it was picking up souls, but they were picking them up at different levels, and it was to do with the ascension of what it is that the soul had managed to achieve on this planet. And certain souls only got so far, and they were then taken back to Earth. So the harvester was waiting for the ones that had ascended. And energetically, some people have been doing this work for a while now. And they've been looking at some of the stuff, and they've been getting to the pivot point where they start to understand what it is to be human. And they change their vibration. And as they're changing their vibration, the people that they would normally spend time with, they don't anymore, because the two of them are no longer compatible. And it opens up doorways into travel, meeting new opportunities, wealth, abundance, love of the self, love from others. And they get to experience, and they also then start to download the information that is in the consciousness that is surrounding us. It is already there, accessible, but you can only receive it as you start to have that alchemized situation for yourself.
So you said, when one understands what is meant, what it does mean to be a human. So from your perspective and from everything, from the information you got so far, what would you say? What is being human?
I think when we come here, we're given, I think what they call it the genesis of creation. It is like the aspects on our checklist that we have to accomplish. And when we accomplish them, there's like a reincarnation in your lifetime that can happen. And you're then given additional work that you never realized, because some people can go through near-death experiences, some people can go through major trauma and breakthrough. But to be human, everybody thinks that they are human, and we all are born to be that way. But when you start to activate the energy aspects of what it is that each one of us carry, you then start to vibrate at a different level. And when you start to vibrate at a different level, then your whole demeanor, the physiology of yourself changes, the rejuvenation of what it is that starts. I'm still extremely fit, healthy, active, and run extremely fast for what it is that I am. But I put it down to what it is that's been given to me. And for all my clients, I start with looking after them, and then I give them the teachings of how to use some of the tools that I've been given, understanding how to use the breath, bringing in that life force that completely changes the aspects of the level of humanity that you can become. And there's no limits. There is 1,000 ways up and 1,000 ways down.
No limits.
No limits.
No limits. Yeah. Wow. Wonderful. So it's really the time to level up, to go get into another vibration, to raise your energy, to be able to perceive more, see more, create more. So this is as well our duty, I will say, to create.
And here am I, okay? When I'm getting to 40-year-old, not now, I'm 64, but when I got to 40, I thought I knew what it was to have a family, to look after my children, to be a breadwinner, to have a job that I thought was the function of what it was that I was meant to do. But a whole door completely opened, and I was shown just what it is that then is possible. And I remember when this lady who did this symbol on my back, and I cursed her for many a year because she forced me to change, and I had no choice. I had to, and I'm still changing now. But I met her about a year and a half ago, and I gave her the opportunity, and I blessed her for giving me what it was that she gave me.
Yeah.
The messenger, doesn't always. And when somebody comes for a healing session, they think that they're going to get looked after and full of love. But if they walk across the threshold and I tell them that your life will shift and you will go through pain because you do not realize what it is that you carry. And for you to then reverse what it is that you carry, you have to then revisit it again in an energetic form. And it's that regression of then going back to a point in time to then understand what your original blueprint was. Is then the fun could start. But each one of us have to understand what it is that's in our inner matrix.
Yeah, wow. So are you working one-on-one personally or as well online? Is it possible online as well?
Yes, I'm doing a lot of sessions now, so I have to look at time differences a lot of the time, especially when the clocks change. But yeah, I've got a client from New York, and yeah, in 15 minutes.
In 15?
Yeah.
Okay. So let me ask you. I'm curious about the angel wings. So let's go back further to this topic again. You said you have done 3 of them.
Yeah.
What kind of material is this? Is it how do you craft them? How do you do it? So let's tell us a little bit more about it and what's the energy and yeah.
Okay, so for 7 years, I knew that I was meant to do a metal sculpture of a set of angel wings. And every time I went to my college at my desk, I had a beautifully crafted stencil drawn of a set of angel wings. But for every day that I saw it, I cursed it because every time I tried to make it, it never happened. And then when I decided to leave education, I'd been in education for 21 years, and I left because I'd managed to accomplish everything that I thought was possible. And I managed to pass on to people. And I remember picking up that image that I did, and I put it in my bag of belongings, before I left. And then 1 week later, I had a change of address. I moved to a small little fishing village on the east coast of Scotland. It's called the East Nook, but it's a beautiful place called Pittenweem. And when I'm walking around looking in the harbour, and it's a fishing village and it's right beside the coast, and I'm totally entranced by where it is that I'm now living. And I met this gentleman. I met this sculptor, and his name was James. And he was a sculptor in titanium. And he said to me, "Jeff, have you ever visited India?" I said, "Yes, I have." I said, I've been to India many, many times with work and also on my own personal search. He says, "Jeff, did you ever go to see Sai Baba?" So he'd actually been to see Sai Baba in Puttaparthi. The two of us, we must be the only 2 people in the whole of Scotland that are actually combined together who bumped into each other to actually have that strange quirk. But we got on like a house on fire. And I had such a wonderful afternoon, and he showed me all these beautiful tools, and I was in awe of some of the work that he did. And just before I left his shop. His wife said, "Jeff, have you ever been up Witchy Wynd? Do you understand my Scottish accent?" Yeah. So Witchy Wynd is like a little road. It's an entwined road. So and I said, "No, I haven't been there." She says, "Well, come, I'll show you." So as she was taking me there, I was starting to get hooked up to something. And every aspect of my being was on fire. And she's looking at me as if to say, "Gosh, what's going on, Jeff?" I says, "It's okay, it's just something that happens." So I walked up Witchy Wynd, completely hooked up to something, and I didn't know what it was. And I went home, and I spent the night, and I went home. And I woke up the next morning, and that feeling is still there. And it's like I'm still I don't know. It's like I'm hooked up to a power source that I cannot explain. And I decided to go back to my college, which I just left the week before. And I went into my old workshop and I started cutting out shapes and I started polishing. I started making, doing lovely bits of patination, changing the color, changing the form, using different metals. And after a couple of hours, I'm in tears because I'm starting to cut out the set of angel wings that had been sitting on my desk for 7 years.
Wow.
So I managed to finish them off. And I don't know if you've got images or pictures, but I'll maybe send them to you. But that was the first set that I'd actually made, and I managed to put them on show, and then they ended up in my teacher's healing center in Ireland. So that was the beginning of the journey. So I went back to see James and I said to him, can you tell me what the history is of witchy wind? And he said, Jeff, he said, where you live on the high street, which was parallel to where the harbour is, he says at the top of the road, he says there's a church. He says, and the church was also used as a jail. He says, and any woman who had money, power, influence, property were brought into the jail to be interrogated and to find out if they were witches. And what they did was they then chained them all together, took them down the high street, down witchy wind, and then they staked them in the sea. And if they lived, they were a witch. And if they died, they were killed. So the markers in witchy wind that my vibration was able to pick up on was what it was that was hidden in the land. And the land is like the human body, because the energetics of what it is that's in the matrix of the land and the human body are exactly the same. And the healing that then took place in that, because what happened was that I was able to have a representation of the women from that local area who were then falsely accused as being witches. So it now stands in Ireland as a representation of that. But it was such an emotional event, and I believe that whatever was in the land was the memory, but there was like a piece of their souls that were there as well. And that was then passed through to me. So I was given the gifts, I think, at the time, and I now use them to this day.
Wonderful. Thank you for sharing. This is incredible. So you already have made 3 angel wings. So you have to do 18 more of them.
More to come, gosh.
Wow. So how do you manage that? So are you doing it in your new home? Who is financing all that if you graft everything? So I think it could be expensive as well. So how do you manage that?
So at this point in time, I'm looking for sponsors.
Ah, good.
I'm looking for assistance with the finance, and I believe that each one is meant to be all in one room once they are all completed. But I think that each individual will know and who it is that's who is meant to get it. I need to be able to publicly promote what it is that this particular project is. And I think there's lots of organizations and companies will actually assist and help the process, because I think it's unstoppable now.
Yeah,
it has to happen, and it's waiting on me. So Beata, this is the wonderful opportunity for me to share this.
yeah, of course. This is so unique. You know, I'm now 72 years on this planet and I have never heard about it. So it's, for me, it's unique. And I believe strongly that for the audience who is listening to you and to us, it's as well unique. So, and this is something, you know, you are, from my perspective, you are doing such a healing work on different layers. You do it for the earth. Maybe you are cleaning ley lines with this. You are working with people. So you are doing such a great work. So this has to be known. So I invite everybody to get in touch with you. And if somebody wants to work with you, he has to get in touch with solutions therapist, or is there another access to you?
I have a contact details, and I can pass that on to you. It's just I can pass you my email address. I also have a company called Empower Energize. So there's a contact that way as well. But I mean, we can maybe pop that up as we send this out there.
Yeah, we will put it down underneath our video when it's then there. So, and let me ask you 2 questions at the very beginning, at the very end, the beginning.
It is the beginning.
Always the beginning. Or 3 questions. So what would you recommend a person who is not in your area now and can't contact you or whatever? What can she or he do to raise their energy? What is your one tip, for example?
Okay, so I'm happy to speak to anybody and you know, show them possibilities, because each of us are kind of unique, and everybody wants their own bespoke journey. Each of us carry different events, but what you basically need is you need a window of opportunity to realize what it is that you carry, and sometimes that healing will actually do that. It will actually then highlight, you know, just the aches and pains that you, because we put all sorts of masks on ourselves to stop ourselves feeling. And what it does is it nullifies ourselves from the world, but it nullifies ourselves from the pain. So I'm happy to speak to anybody and everybody who wants to do work, who really wants to look at themselves in ways that they've never done before. I'm happy to share some of the tools that I've got. And, you know, this information is really to be getting out there.
Thank you. So, and now the final 2 questions. Chef, what do you want or wish for the world? And what do you want or wish for yourself?
Okay. For the world, I wish that they can experience their own unique, wonderful journey that then highlights just what this world is and what it is that's lying and waiting for them. Because it is, it's waiting for each one of us. It is waiting for that activation. And, you know, some people may have to come back again and again and again until they get that. But as my clients, I always ask the question, how many times they've been here. Each one of them has got a different number. And when they're doing the work, they say, Jeff, I don't want to come back again. But, you know, the journey of ascension can happen like that. But some people like a process, and we are addicted to the pain, we're addicted to the suffering, we're addicted to the ways of being that, you know, that control us. And there is so much medicine, there's so much open substances, there's so many ways to stop our light becoming. And that's what I wish for the world, is that we experience the light that is waiting for them.
And for yourself?
For myself, as I give out, I get back. The more activation in people that come to me, it just comes to me tenfold. I am honestly so blessed in this time of my life. I've been given so many gifts. I've been given pats on the back. I've been able to work in wonderful organizations. And the journey itself, for me to be a human, is still continuing.
So wonderful. Thank you so much, Jeff, for your wisdom, for your energy today, for everything you have shared with us. I thank you so much, and may the blessings always with you. Thank you.
Oh, thank you, Beata. Thank you very much, my darling. Oh, such a joy.
Thank you for watching. Click on one of the videos below to continue your journey and tell others about this channel. And please subscribe.